Welcome back to another video in the Tiller Tips series. In this video, we are going to explore the new feature of fluid tanks and cargo holds, specifically the adoption of the sounding tables. Note: there are a few prerequisites you need to take full advantage of for this feature. Before we jump into recording our soundings with the logbook, there is a bit of configuration for this to work within your environment. These steps can be a bit daunting, so please take it step by step and pause as needed. Firstly, we want to configure the tanks, tank contents, and measurement units. Let's start by configuring the measurement units. We will need to navigate over to Setup, Parts, and then Part Units. Here you need to ensure you have the units of measurement that are on your vessel's sounding table and any additional units of measurement you wish to utilize. You can do this by clicking New Unit in the top right-hand corner, then entering the unit of measurement. Now that we have the measurement units set up, we can configure our tank contents. To do this, we go to Setup and then Logbook. Up at the top, you will see a tab called Commodity Types. You can click this. In this area, we set up the types of contents, not the contents themselves. An example of these is fuel or ballast. Since we're focusing on fuel in this demonstration, we will go to the top right-hand corner and click the plus sign, which will show us a commodity type pop-up box. Here we will enter our fuel information: name, fuel, attribute, fluid, applicable units. This should be the same as what you plan to track this fluid in on board, and then click Save. Once you have completed setting up all of the types, we can set up all of our commodities. Let's click on the Commodities tab next to our commodity types. This is the same as our commodity type. Click on the plus button to get our new commodity box. Complete the info as needed. Name and short name are the description of the tank contents you want to track one at a time. Commodity type is the type we created just before. In our case, is fuel. Applicable units should auto-populate from the commodity type. External system is reference and doesn't need to be populated. We have now configured the measurement units and tank contents. Now let's configure the tanks for our assets. Before we jump into the actual tanks, we need to define what tank types we have on board. To do this, we go to Operations, then Cargo Hold Types. We can create a new cargo hold type by clicking on New Cargo Hold Type. Here we can enter the name and the short name. Asset profile will be asset for all primary assets. Now we can start to create tanks against our asset to set up our sounding tables. This is under Management Assets. And click on the asset we want to configure our tanks for. In the tabs, we have a new tab called Tanks and Cargo Holds. You will see in our example, we have a few tanks already. But let's walk through and create 2 fuel tanks. We will be replicating our Robert Allen Raystar fuel tanks and sounding table. Click Add Cargo Hold and let's label this tank. Repeat these steps for all the tanks you'd like to create. Now that we have our tanks created, we need to apply the sounding tables to them. We need to go back into our tanks and we will have the sounding data in the top right-hand corner of the tank details area. Click the Sounding Data button. You will get a window to configure the sounding unit, volume unit, and the ability to upload your sounding table. You will need to download the sample template to match what I have shown you. Let's apply our sounding tables to our template here. Once we have selected our sounding unit, volume unit, and uploaded the sounding table, we just need to click Save. Now that we have the tanks and the contents configured on an asset level, we just need to allow the crew to complete these soundings on board. To do these, we need to configure an event that allows us to check the sounding. Let's jump down to our setup, then Events. Then create an event of tank soundings. And under the type area, we need to select fluid reading. Once we have this in place, let's go have a look at this new feature in action. To take a tank sounding in a helm, you need to be on board in our logbook. Click Log a New Entry, then click Tank sounding. You will then be presented with a few boxes to complete. Note, our tank sounding boxes will not show up unless we have selected our commodity. Once you have selected the commodity, enter the sounding based on the setup and unit of measurement. The trim will always be 0, unless you have completed the other trim columns in the sounding table setup. Once you have completed the sounding, click Calculate to allow the system to reference your sounding table and give you your tank volume. Log that event and watch it get updated in the Cargo tab of Onboard. That's all for this tip on sounding tables from Tiller Tips. Feel free to reach out with any additional questions. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.